Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of AgogeTV. I'm your host Phil Leonard. Joining me on today's show is my co-host Josh Summersgill and all-round awesome dude, comedy legend and up-and-coming CrossFit superstar Reggie Fasa. Reggie is great fun to have on the podcast. We had a great laugh with him throughout. He's full of laughs and I think everyone will enjoy today's show. We kick off the show talking about how he was flirting with Sarah Sigmund's daughter, so I know you're in for a wild ride. Before we move on to the show, guys, please don't forget to check out our sponsor. A sponsor today for today's show is X Endurance. You can check them out at xendurance.eu and use the code AgogeTV20 for 20% off at checkout. Enjoy the show, guys. Gosh. Hi everyone, welcome to AgogeTV. On today's show, Reggie, do you know what? I forgot to ask you. I was supposed to ask you this before we started the podcast, but because we're dead professional, how do you say your surname?
Fasa.
Fasa. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I was saying to Josh before we started, I was like, is it Fasa or Fasa or
Fasa?
Like, bet you get all sorts.
Out, mate. You can go as well out.
So, Reggie, how are you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Thanks for having us on.
Good man. Glad to have you. So first things first, mate, just for our audience who might not know who you are, can you just explain a bit more about who you are, what you do in the wonderful world of CrossFit and how, like, who you train with, that kind of thing?
Right. I'm 25, probably just been doing CrossFit for coming up with 4 years now. Before I done CrossFit, I done rugby, done it at quite a good standard. Nice. Played for Newcastle Academy, north of England. Managed to get a scholarship to a boarding school as well, doing it. Try to take it a bit more seriously, but then fucking turns out I was made of glass and I just kept getting injured all the time. So I end up getting dropped from the academy, and I was like, no. So when started going to, just went back to play for my local club, and then one of the lads from the local club opened up his own CrossFit gym. Got a few of the boys down just for an extra bit of fizz, and then ended up falling in love with a bit of CrossFit, and then sacked rugby off. And just started doing CrossFit a bit more full time.
Nice, I like it. And then, obviously, you've been doing CrossFit 4 years, which in the grand scheme of things isn't actually that long.
Considering what
CrossFit,
you can
in
do,
CrossFit
though.
years, it's about 40 years. Like we're probably about 45 in CrossFit years.
Considering what you can do performance-wise, that's quite scary and upsetting at the same time.
For sure. So. The first thing I want to ask you about is you went over to Wadapalooza and to compete as an individual. What was that experience like? How was that?
Oh, it was class, mate. It was class. Like with the group that went over with Mikey, Steve, Taylor. I think it's the first time I met Annetta as well. Evie was over there from JST. Yeah. It was unreal. Like obviously training with Mikey day in day out. Like probably one of my best mates. That was class just to be around with him all the time, chewing his lugs off. Steve was probably sick with it by the end of the week, like, because we're just fucking on another level. Like, after we've had a not goal, mate, we're just fucking absolutely bouncing off walls. Like, no one can understand what we're saying. And we're thinking, what the fuck are these two on? Like, it was fucking class dig. Like, fuck, the experience, like, going out on the floor with, like, all the crowd, like, it was mega proper. It felt like a celeb getting escorted around to different events and that. And it was like watching Tia like walk past you. You're like, fucking hell. Sarah Sigmund's daughter tried to flirt with her in the warm up area. It was fucking class. I went up to her. I was like, right, she's getting flirted with right now. I know she's about 3 foot taller than us. And I was like, but we're the same height lying down. I was like, you're getting it, you like Sarah. You're getting it.
I love it.
How'd that one go?
So you got a number, yeah?
Oh, mate, nah. She hasn't followed us yet on Instagram. Like, I was like, wait until after this rowing event, babe. I'll show you how to dig it.
You just slide into the DMs after the rowing event. Is that the plan?
After the first day, I was sitting pretty much last at the bottom of the leaderboard. I was like, right, I'm gonna have to turn this round on this rowing event here. Like,
so obviously that was one of my questions. So first of all, how tall are you?
5'8", 5'9" on a good day.
5'8". Yeah,
that's
good.
Tall.
to Josh, that's a giant.
I'm 5'6".
Fucking giant. 5'6" in his fucking weightlifting shoes.
Fucking wall that counts. You've always got them on.
I've always got them on. True story. And obviously you went out and destroyed a rowing workout, which, let's face it, that's not a typical strength for somebody who's only 5'8", 5'9". So first of all, explain the workout and then explain how you managed to destroy everybody.
So after the first day, like, I don't know what it was the first day, like the events, like they looked good for me on paper, and then they were just like back to back. I was getting hammered by everyone, and I was like, I had a phone call with my coach afterwards. I was like, what's going on here, mate? I was like, I grafted my arse off for this competition to get fit for it, and like just nothing was shown. Like I just felt like I had nothing in the tank, especially after the first event. It was like a long endurance one. I'm sure it was 3 rounds for time, 10 ring muscle ups. This was all with a bag on.
I remember the ruck one.
We had a run in and had loads of air squats. Some of the lads were like wiping 6 minutes off my time, and I was like, 6 minutes is quite hard to find in like that domain of a workout, and I was absolutely buckled. And then I just like went back to the hotel, got a good night's kip, woke up the next day, and then we didn't know what the rowing event was. We knew it was going to be rowing, but then we woke up, we had to go down to the brief, and then they explained what it was, and I was like, fucking, I was just purely rowing. I was like, I can dig that, like I can dig a bit of rowing. And we found out what it was, and the event was, it was called pace boat. You had it was a 12-minute row, and like everyone started at the same time. There was 40 rowers on the floor. Everyone started at the same time, and there was this pace boat what got faster and faster over the course of it, and I'm sure it started at like a 1:55 split. So the further you got ahead of that pace boat, the less likely it was going to catch you in the end. But apparently, like, it wasn't supposed to be finishable because the pace boat came back down to like a 1:15 split, like towards the end. So every 30 seconds, the pace boat got like 2 or 3 seconds quicker.
Yeah.
So the last split was like a 1:15. And no one's pulling the 1:15 after 12 minutes of rowing.
1:15. So that's not 1:50. 1:15.
Nah, 1:15 split. So I was like, right.
I've never seen that on a rower.
The only way I'm seeing a 1:15 is if I start with a 1:15. I was like, right, I've made my bed. So I remember coming out. I wanted to come out hot, and I was. If I've got the lead, I'm all right engaging off it, because on the monitor you could see everyone's how far away were from you. Like the first 5 people below you could see how far away from you. And I remember coming out hot, and Travis Williams, he came out hot as well, and we banged it. We got it down like a 1:12, and we're just holding on to it quite a fast pace. And then I gradually just let it go up to a 1:30 for a bit, and then gradually kept under 1:40 pretty much the whole way. And I was looking, I was like, when's this fucker gonna leave us alone? Like, we're just back and forth. Like, he was in front, I was in front, he was in front. I was like, when he fucks off, I was like, I'm gonna have a cushy little finish here. And I could see his pace dropped off like 10, 20 meters, and then I acted fitter than I was. I was like, right, if I keep this pace a little bit more, get like 150 meters in front of him, 100 meters, he's not going to give us like a sprint finish at the end. So it's like he had an out left. So I acted a bit fitter than I was, got like 100 meters in front of him, and then the last minute he tried to bang it again. He put some big strokes in, and then I could see like the gap came a little bit closer, and I was like, nah, mate, that's not happening. So I just matched these strokes back, and then eventually brought it home. But it was I didn't feel too bad after it as well. Like, I remember Monday he said, was like, Reggie, what was wrong with your rower there? He's like, I looked over to you and you weren't even out of breath, you just looked fucking sound on it. And I was like, fucking hands, mate, it's probably off all the JST conditioning I've been doing. So we'll do just 500 repeats
500 for days. Love it. And like the Travis Williams is known for going out hot as well, so there must have been a bit of like, he's gonna die at some point.
Yeah, but them Americans can't pull for shit. You should have seen the technique. I was like, whoa, mate, no wonder you're buckled. I was like, you weren't even like, you fully extended on it. His arms were bent the full time. I was like, whew.
Brilliant. So obviously that was a first place finish for you. What was that experience like, just like finishing first in a massive event like that?
Oh, it was class, like proper class. Like, then you had to go and do an interview with some fit bird, and my endorphins were fucking through the roof. So I was like, right, I'm gonna chew your lugs off next as well. So literally my accent's hard to pick up anyways if you're not from here. And then I was just on a next level, just chatting shit on the camera. Probably swore about 40 times as well.
I do remember seeing the interview, and you were just buzzing. I was like, I would still be laid down for like a week having tried tried to do anything like that. So obviously,
event win like in them competitions, they do mega on the leaderboard as well, because like 100 points.
Yeah,
I think second place is like 95, then it gets worse, obviously worse and worse. But like 100 points in sanctionals just bumps you right up the leaderboard. Like I'm sure, like I was sitting in like 30th then before going into that. Then after that event win, bumped us like above 20th straight away. It was
nice,
class.
Awesome, I love it. And you say, yeah, you called your coach. Is Steve your coach or is Jack your coach? I don't know.
Jack's my coach.
So Jack's your coach.
Steve works close with him, with me, Mikey, but Jack's the one who programs for.
Cool. So like, obviously we had Taylor on, and Steve's Taylor's coach, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I was curious as well, because obviously she's got a cool relationship with Steve. At events like that, when obviously you've got Steve there but not Jack and stuff like that, what's that like? What's that? How do like you say you get on the phone and be like, Jack, help? Or is it like
nah, like Steve's classy. He obviously knows what he's on about. He's been there, done that. But like just like his warm-ups, like to get your heart rate, like before I started taking it seriously and like getting to the level where I'm competing at now, like I didn't know really how to warm up, or like knowing how to warm your heart rate up and getting to the right pace and things like that. And like Steve just sorts you right out for everything, like your movement patterns, like your tactics, when to break, where you should be breaking. Like it's unreal how much knowledge he's got. It's actually unreal.
Yeah,
I think it's a funny one with warm ups as well. I mean, something that we talk to our members about sometimes is like before the Open's like a prime one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you almost, people don't want to get out of breath before the workout.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like you're not going to kill yourself.
I need to save myself for the workout, but you need to get warm for it as well.
Exactly, that's it. You need to warm yourself up and get going. But like there is always that, but if I do this, there's less 20-minute AMRAP going to kill me. It's like, well, probably not. No, do you know what I mean? Get out of breath first. But it's a hard thing to get across to people.
Yeah, definitely. Since I've like been competing, like that's one of the biggest differences is made, is like actually warming up properly and sorting out my body and like make sure I'm recovered for the next event and getting some fuel in before the next event, because on competition days I struggle to get the right stuff in to fuel you, even when you're not hungry, because you just live off the adrenaline and the caffeine, what you've been smashing in all day. So you don't really feel hungry, but you just got to ram it in, you feel so much better going into the next event.
Yeah, I agree. And it must be interesting as well, because obviously warming up for the Open is completely different to warming up for a sanctioned event, because obviously, and it's a skill in itself. Was that like a shock to the system when you first went to a sanctioned event and you had to stand about for an hour between warm up and
then you're just like in awe a bit with like the caliber of athletes there, like fucking like watching these lads on the telly, and then next minute you're there, and the next lane to them you're like fucking you just start copying off what they do in the warm. You're like, well, he's doing it, I'm gonna get amongst some of that as well. You're not even like hamstrings are not even tight, but like I'll do the hamstring stretch like just because he's doing it.
Yeah. Well, Rich Frowney's doing the hamstring stretch. I'm going to do the
I'm getting amongst it. Pitching position, get me on it.
Awesome. And so, like I said, just to get into warm-ups a little bit, like say, how is it? How do you handle that? Like when you know that you've got like a big break between, so you're going to warm up and then you're maybe going to do 20 minutes stood watching, and then you're going to get into it. Like
I think that's where I went wrong on the first day. Because I was just in awe with everything, like the size of the event. I wanted to get round, see everything, watch the team compete as well. Like, and it just zapped us on that first day, because outside with the heat, just drained my energy for us. I felt like I had no drive or like anything in the tank for that first day. And then after the second day, we went straight back to the hotel after we both finished the events, because we had a good couple hours between the events. Got some food in, some rice and some fish, and just like chilled out, just like try not hype up for the next event, and go back with like a good 30 minutes before get a good warm up again, just so you're ready and just chilled, and rather than just being out in the sun all day, because it just bakes you, like it just drains you.
Yeah. I mean, you did the French Throwdown as well before you did Wadapalooza, is that right?
Well, that was fucking nails. That, I'm surprised I came back alive after that competition. It was absolutely brutal. One of the hardest things I've done in life, that
Right.
competition was
Really?
next level, mate. Next level.
Wow.
The heat, when we had to do that stupid 10K run in that heat, it was fucking mega unreal. I remember one of the events on the first day, so I had to do that. You had to do GHD Annie, which buckled my hip flexors. I couldn't stand up straight for the next like 3 weeks after that. I was about 4'6" after that. Then we had to go into like this kettlebell thruster workout. And I remember the judges were like, no rep. And I was like, lush. I was like, I can't wait to do all these extra reps here. Like, I was like, just keep no repping us, mate. I fucking love it. Because apparently we weren't allowed to turn in the air when we're jumping over the kettlebell, but some people were and some people weren't. So he just, and he didn't know much English, because he was French. So I couldn't get across to what he was saying. All that I understood, that was a no rep. I was like, well, that's definitely a no rep. And he just kept rattling them off, and it absolutely booked. I remember looking down at the kettlebells, I was like, I could possibly die on this floor here. I was absolutely done in. I remember taking water out before and leaving it under the rig, and I was like, right, this kid's fucking rattling the lugs with these no reps. I'm gonna go back, have a glass of water, come back and do these burpees again. I remember going and get the water, and the water was fucking boiling, like as if it just been put in the microwave. I was like, how hot's it in here? The humidity was a joke, mate. It's fucking next level. Proper hard competition, that.
So you don't exactly, I feel like you went from like, obviously I'd not seen you compete anywhere else, and then you went to like the biggest competitions possible, like short of the games. You went like, from my point of view, you went, I don't know who Reggie is, to this guy's competing at the French Throwdown, who the fuck's he? I mean, like, is that basically what happened? Or
like when we first started, like I've trained with Mikey for like 4 years now, and we've always said we wanted to try and reach the games and like reach the pinnacle of CrossFit, and would talk it as if we were going to do it, but like we still had like a full-time job, and it was hard graft trying to get in the gym, do all the training and things like that. But like when you do put the hard work in, and then it starts to pay off, like it's a bit like, and you are competing, you are getting there, and you're getting like chipping away at the leaderboard and like competing with all like the people who are going to the games. It's some motivation, like to keep digging it, and like it's actually going to pay off one day. So for the past 3 years, I've had a full-time job doing it, and only recently I've only just dropped my hours at work after Wadapalooza. So I work for my dad. So hopefully this year for the Open, like, because I remember Steve saying on a podcast, you don't need to train more, you just need to train better. So you have more time to recover between your sessions on a week. So you don't need to do like 9 hours a day in the gym, what people might think you need to do to get to this level. You don't. It's just how much effort you apply with the time you've got, and you'll get fitter.
Yeah.
So after dropping, I only work 3 days a week now for the Open, so I can have like the Monday and Friday off where I can just totally invest myself into doing the Open, rather than just going from work straight to the Open with no warm up and just diving straight into fucking 19.1 with them burpees. Let the first round of burpees warm me up. Absolutely buckled. So
brilliant.
It'll be a big difference. I've seen a big difference in my training so far with having all the time off work and just sorting my recovery out.
I was going to say a little bit of extra recovery goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, mate, unreal.
Like a 200 kilogram front squat, for example. So can't not ask you about this, because I remember trying to count those fucking plates. I was like, nah. It's like front squat, and I was like, and
so Mikey was building up with a back squat, and he's warming up on the back squat, and I was like, you not want to build up with a front squat? He said, nah, my front rack doesn't feel good. So you're still building up with a back squat 140 kilos in. He's like, you know what it is? I'm going to a front squat with you because 200 kilos is going up. So he just switch to a front squat halfway through building up to his back squat. I was like, sound, mate, it's on. Put some rave on, getting amongst it.
I love it. So was that like just pure training atmosphere, you and Mikey getting after it?
Like it's class. Like what we've been to create with like no one around us, just me and him. Like fucking, it's unreal, the atmosphere we've been to create. So I can't wait the next training day with the boys, like all the lads from JST, man, we're gonna be fucking wired.
I can only imagine how that's gonna look after.
Unreal. Honestly, I'm gonna get rhabdo for a week.
I love it. So, obviously, you've hit big events. You've got the numbers. Let's look at it that way, because you can do two.
Yeah.
Like, you got 200 key front squats. Let's assume you've got the numbers for your snatch, clean and jerk. We know you can row. What is the next? What's the thing that gets you to the games? What's the next level?
Just like not making mistakes, like fine tuning everything, like just efficiency on your movements. Like it's just all them little things, all the little inches add up to the big goal towards the end. Like just like I remember saying, the coach was saying, is like the next thing we're working on after Wadapalooza is just moving like a princess. That's all he says to us, like you just got to move like a princess on everything. So like knocking all the, like bringing it back, not down to basics, but taking all the percentage work off and just moving well on the gymnastics, like on core things, just because it'll add up. So you're moving better, you're saving energy, and you're going to be fresher you'll be able to go longer and all this, rather than moving like a fucking bag of spanners. And it works. It works.
Yeah, definitely does. And it's like we had my coach on a while ago, and he said the exact same thing about it. Like most people just need to move better. Like
he's had you doing that for the last however long, hasn't he?
Yeah,
You've noticed it.
Yeah, like
and you've struggled from that point of view in terms of like obviously getting stronger, haven't you? And
whoa, you mean I don't move well? Try and fucking say. I'm gonna go with that though. Move like a princess. I think
move like a pretty.
New mantra. Move like a princess. I like it. So, like I said, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but we assume the goal is the games. Yeah, cool. And obviously, with everything that's going on, and like I said, I don't want to get too much into that, but what's your feeling about like when the next competition is going to be? Are you feeling like you're sort of ready to get into something now, or are you quite happy to just like, for example, we spoke to Carrie Pearce and she was like, I'm buzzing that the game's been put back, it just gives me more time to prep.
Exactly. Like I'm really enjoying just training at the minute, like really enjoying like the process and like getting better. I still feel like I'm getting better every week, and just everything's just going up, like moving in the right direction. I'm not in any rush to go into any competition at the minute. I don't feel like I need to. Like people can't wait to get on the floor, but you got bags of time for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, agreed. So what I want to ask you a few basically, in fact, what is your profession? You said you work with your dad. What do you do?
Yeah, labourer for my dad. So
nice.
Fucking slave drives me all day. And Mikey's been working for me recently as well. And honest to God, mate, he's like, if you don't do 20k steps a day, you're on getting paid. And I'm like, fucking hell, Dad.
No wonder the 2 days off.
Yeah, no wonder you need that extra recovery.
No, Jesus.
I love it. So my question is, if you could choose like any profession other than professional CrossFitter and what you do now, what would it be?
Can't be rugby player either.
Yeah, we can't be rugby player.
F1 driver.
F1 driver.
Would it?
Nice. Yeah. I like it.
Not had that one before.
No, that's a new one as well. It did make me laugh though. One guy did actually say a labourer. He was like, I want to. He was like, just
on the side.
Yeah, he's like,
class on the fucking tools.
He's a mental health nurse, and he turned around and he was like, yeah, I think I'd just like to be like a labourer or an electrician or something. Just, and I'm like,
fucking hell. For the stars, mate. Fucking
I know, right? I was like, bro, you could go to the moon and be an astronaut. And
people want what they want, don't they? You know?
Fucking class.
I see him every time I see him at the gym. I'm like, he's the same guy that was like, I had a dream the other night that I cleaned 140 kilograms or something like that. And I was like, you were dreaming? Why didn't you go for 2? like, if I'm dreaming it, I'm snatching fucking 400 key. Like
fucking the one. I'm gonna wet dream about that. Even the 100 kilo snatch, I'm like, fucking hell, that dream's unreal.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry, I got off track. Anyway, so obviously off the back of that, you said F1 driver, so it's kind of the same question. I was going to ask you what sport you'd go for. So would it be an F1 driver, or is there like a
something
specific...
like that, like rally, something to rally or something like that.
Nice, awesome. So, I want from you your top 3 dick gym moves. So,
Dick gym moves.
Basically, the things that people do in the gym that really fuck you off.
Fucking hell. Putting shit music on. That fucking bottoms me, that, like.
What shit music?
Yeah, go on.
What comes on in your life?
Let's upset some people. Go on.
Like, fucking heavy metal or some scream or some shit like that.
Right, okay.
Absolutely does me.
I can't hear the music when I'm... Do you know what though? I was training the other day and I was doing rowing and dumbbell DT, so it was fucking miserable. And and Little Mix come on, and I don't normally hear the music, and I'm sat there and I'm like dying on the rower, on a 500 meters, and I'm just thinking to myself,
Little Mix.
Why the fuck is Little Mix on this playlist? And
to remind you,
I would have got off and just hide the iPad.
I was considering. I was like, can I get off and just stop playing to skip this song, or is that not okay? So
what else?
Go on, 2 more.
When people, the way that they load the bar up sometimes, if they're just fucking putting loads of 5 kilo plates on instead of just changing and put bigger plates on, I'm like, fucking hell, man.
But I'm lifting 10 plates, coach.
look how big it looks. The bar's bending.
You can come to my gym. That fucking winds me up as well.
What else? I haven't got much more pet hates than that. I'm probably bad for some of them as well, like choking up for air squats and fucking burpees and shit like that. I mean, the worst ones.
I always say people who chalk up for fucking 400 meter run or press ups.
Honestly, mate, I chalk up for back squats. I literally think it makes you stronger. I'm like, give so much out here.
Not joke.
Pablo Escobar.
That is not a joke.
It's not a joke. It just gives you more power.
Exactly.
A little bit. Okay, cool. Do you know what? I always ask people what the favourite swear word is when they've not swore that much, but I feel like you're gonna have a good one just because you.
I struggle with it now. Put me on the spot. Probably fuck. More times I've said it.
Yeah. I love a good favourite swear word. Fuck's the classic. Have you got anything?
I think the C-bomb's a bit too much. Like, I can't be dropping that on the podcast. Like, it's fucking naughty, that word.
I'm not bothered. As long as it's not me upsetting people and it's you upsetting people. Because I'm upsetting enough people.
It is normally you upsetting people.
If my mum watches this podcast, I'm going to get a fucking bollocking after this. She's going to do me all hour.
She's going to be like, hey, no one's going to be having you in as a labourer. They think you're a lazy bastard. Love it. Okay, so I always say a book or film recommendation as well. It can be either or both.
I love a chick flick, like proper soppy for one of them. But I'm in my series at the minute, like Top Boy. You seen that on Netflix?
Top Boy's great. I love Top Boy.
Mate, I just want to be a little drug dealer down London after watching that. I've literally ordered about 400 quid's worth of North Face stuff, and I'm gonna move down London and just sell Charlie. It's fucking class.
Have you seen Power?
No, I haven't seen Power.
Power's good.
I've heard about it though.
Power's a bit of you. You like Power.
Yeah, I think I like Power. Josh got me onto that. And the other one that's similar as well, like Queen of the South.
Oh yeah, my dad's watched that.
Yeah, that's
class. That.
Josh has just got me into, and my missus watches it as well, which makes it even better because I can actually get around to watching it.
Have you seen Peaky Blinders?
Yeah.
Yeah, Peaky Blinders is good.
Lately, I've just been for a haircut, trying to get the same haircut as fucking Thomas Shelby off fucking Peaky Blinders, man. He's fucking class. I want to Brummie accent off it as well. It's unreal.
I think you could go for the big Arthur Shelby tash, mate. I think you can make
Arthur Shelby.
Yeah. I think you could make it work, that big tash.
I've got a horrible little ginger little tash, man. It looks hanging.
I had to do I'm trying to grow my hair out. It's fucking well long. I had to do a deal with my missus that I was going to shave my beard off so that I could keep my hair long. It was one or the other.
One or the other.
Yeah, but my beard was so shit. I was like, that's a good deal.
I will take that.
I'm probably going to have to grow my hair out as well because this little bald patch off all these handsome push-ups Jack's making me do, man. Unfucking real. I'm about 10 handsome push-ups away from being bald, man. He's got me on the bottom.
Nah, you're just doing the thrown-in. That's it.
I was having a slick back.
just do the throw. Just claim that you grew that bald spot in because you want to be like thrown in. That's it.
He's got a hair transplant now, hasn't he? He's been to Turkey and get it.
He's been to Turkey. I heard he had an hair transplant, to be fair. I don't think it's worked, though, you know.
I don't think it has. Them handsome push-ups booklet, man. It's a waste of money.
Training for the games or a hair transplant, what do you go for? that can be one of my this and that questions. Okay, one more fun question. Let me have a quick look. Okay, if you could pick one person to basically learn as much as you possibly can from, who would it be?
David Attenborough.
David Attenborough. Good answer.
Unreal. He's my idol. He's class.
I can imagine you commentating on it, like
animal program.
Do you know what? I want to get you commentating over a CrossFit event. I think
it wouldn't have me on.
You know what? We'll get a live stream. They let anybody have one these days. I'll get a live stream and get to talk over it like David Attenborough, just like
class.
Love it. Get you and Mikey doing it. Nobody'd have a fucking clue what's going
on. Knee chance. You're gonna have to get Mikey on after me. You're fucking buckleys.
We'll get Mikey on for sure. I remember seeing Mikey at what event did we? Was it Rep It Out? I think it was Rep It Out the first year. When me and Daz competed, and he was the only one that looked in shape.
Yeah, he's a fucking joke. He's a joke.
And he absolutely I can't remember who was on his team, but he pretty much destroyed everyone that year. And they just won every event. I remember I was competing, so I thought he was a prick. But nah, good guy, honest, especially considering we want him on the podcast. Okay, cool. We've got some more questions. Basically, this or that. You choose what you prefer and what you'd pick. So first, for example, would be snatch or clean and jerk.
No, clean and jerk.
Clean and jerk.
Is your snatch going that bad at the minute?
Oh, honestly, mate. Some days you think, fuck, how has he made it at Wodapalooza? 60 kilo snatch buckling me out, and I'm like, fuck it, now here we go.
Makes
me
me
one
feel
of them
better.
days.
Get me on the rower.
Sorry, I forgot what it was. Snatch, clean, jerk. So clean and jerk. Running or rowing?
Rowing.
Air bike or C2 bike?
C2.
Front squat or back squat?
Front squat.
Front squat. I was like, what? I was like, do we really need to ask that one?
I think I'm going to out front squat my back squat at this rate.
Oh, shit. I want to see that. I want to see you hit the front squat and then
miss the back squat.
Fail the back squat.
that would be gram worthy for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Pizza or ice cream?
Ooh. Ice cream.
Nice. Cookies or donuts?
Cookies.
Books or movies?
Movies. Can't fucking read. There's me.
Rugby or CrossFit?
CrossFit.
Nice. CrossFit Games gold medal or £1 million?
Not the gold medal. Easy.
Yes.
Good answer. That decides whether you go on the podcast or not. Wait. Was it Carrie Pearce though that said that she wanted the gold. She went £1 million.
Really?
Yeah, because I was that close saying that's why you've not won it yet. But
Oh, mate, that would have been fucking class. That would have been unreal.
She just took it well as well. She
Yeah.
had a good laugh.
I was like,
You'd probably get £1 million for winning the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
Sponsorships, anyways.
make enough on sponsorships. That's it, isn't it? That's my thoughts anyway. Not that I'm about to
There's
make
a
the
few
fucking
PTs after it as well. Everyone would be clamming to do it, man.
Sell a program. That's all you have to do, isn't it? Like, that's Steve. He must be making millions by now.
Pin rights. After I banged that Rowan event from his Rowan program, fucking blew up, man.
You should be asking for royalties on that shit, man. All those Americans that signed up for a rowing program.
Hobbit Rowan program.
Hobbit rowing program.
Yeah, buddy.
I love it. Josh needs that.
I do.
I love it. I give Josh loads of shit, but I'm actually only like an inch taller than him. And the only thing I can do is row. Anyway.
This big. That's why.
Right, Reggie. This it's been awesome. It's good fun, buddy.
Cheers,
before we let you go, I need to ask basically, how do people find you if they want to know a bit more about you? And do you have any sponsors or anybody that you'd like to thank and mention?
Nah, on Instagram, Reggie Fasa. That's it.
Nice.
So I'm at. If they want to slide in my DMs, slide in my DMs. Or on Tinder. If they come across my 50-mile radius on Tinder, I'll be on there as well.
Did it not stretch to like Rekovic? Did it not go that far?
not make it there.
I think the max distance is like 100 miles or something.
Did you set the camera up purposely so that the girls could see those big old quads? Was that the?
It was. The fucking DMs with the slide was well open on that day, mate. It was fucking popping. Get loads of a few gay lads following us as well. Like I'm like, fucking hell, mate. How?
Hey, you might get a cracking gay following out of this. You never know.
Following to following.
Do out once, man. Do out once.
Good man, love it. Right, Reggie. Like I said, we'll link that up in the show notes so that people can give you a follow and stuff like that.
Right. Cheers,
thank you very much for joining us today. Obviously, before we go, just like to thank our sponsor, X Endurance. Check them out and use the code AgogeTV20 for 20% off at checkout on xendurance.eu. Again, guys, thanks very much for joining us. Peace.